So, Pistons are back this week after taking the last week off with the All-Star break because they got 2 games back. It's now the focus is now on the push to the playoffs and trying to see who's in and who's out if the Pistons can still hang on and get that 1 seed with that big cushion they have. And yes, I'm going to get this done quickly because there's a hockey game I got to get to in about 20 minutes for the Olympics for the gold medal game. The big rivalry matchup between Canada and USA. And if anyone's wondering, yes, this is indeed a Steve Yzerman Team Canada jersey. Don't believe me? Here you go, see? Says Yzerman right on the back. There. Because, yes, fun fact, Yzerman is Canadian, in case Waynes fans didn't know that. And now any Waynes fan that just bashed Canada the last week or two now feels fucking stupid. And for anyone wondering why there's so much hate between Canada and USA in this hockey rivalry, I'll address that at the end of the video. For now, let's talk about Detroit sports this week. Oh yeah, Tigers preseason begins with spring training. Like I said, it's like other sports, I don't really care about spring training. But I feel like out of all three, the Detroit fans probably give more of a shit about spring training than they do about NHL, NFL, and NBA preseason. Mainly because baseball spring training's down in Florida. I usually know Detroit fans usually will give more of a shit about attending spring training than they do about the other 3 preseasons. Because usually for spring training, when it's down in Florida, it gives Detroit fans an excuse to go down to Florida and get out of the cold weather up in Michigan. Which, hey, I don't blame any Detroit fan for doing that because, you know, who wouldn't say no? Who wouldn't say no to going down to Florida this time of year? Even though it's kind of warmed up with Michigan weather the last couple weeks. Like, it isn't that cold, giant, extreme cold spell like we had the last month in January. But Tigers only had 1 spring training game to note, and that was the game against the Yankees, and, yeah. All I have to say about that game is, well, thank God it's spring training, but oof, 20-3, that's an ugly way to start spring training. Oof. Still a long ways to go. Especially for a roster that has ambitions of winning a World Series this year. I mean, it's pretty obvious the Tigers are going all in this year with them getting Valdez and Verlander back. But yeah, Tigers still got a ways to go. You know, but it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this goes. Detroit basketball! Now we get the Pistons basketball, and well, the Pistons start the week off with a big game against the Knicks, with the Knicks still trying to chase them down for the 1 seed in the East. And of course, let me just say this. This is how pathetic the Knicks are and why I don't fear them at all going in. And why I think the Knicks are overrated and fake as hell. Let me just say this to Knicks fans that think you have a chance against Detroit in the playoffs. This game against the Knicks, no Jalen Duren, no Isaiah Stewart, and the Pistons still give a belt to ass. Mainly off the back of Cade Cunningham's 42-point performance. Like, honestly, this game might have easily been the best game of Cade Cunningham's career so far. Like, honestly, this is why Cade Cunningham's in the conversation for MVP this year. Because when Cade has to, he'll always step up to the plate and perform. And with Cade fresh off the All-Star appearance, and yeah, he stepped up to the plate and beat the Knicks. Let me just say this to the Knicks fans. If Duren and Isaiah Stewart played, you would have lost by 30 points again to the Pistons. And Knicks fans are so fucking delusional. They think they have a chance against Detroit in the playoffs because the Knicks got swept by Boston last year. And look what they did to Boston. Well, here's the differences. 1, we are not fucking Boston. That was Boston. The Pistons are no Boston. Let's get that straight. The sooner you dumbass Knicks fans get that through your head, the better off you'll be. And two, I don't think Boston hammered you badly as the Pistons did this year, because all 3 games the Pistons won in the season series against the Knicks, all 3 weren't even close. So yeah, Nick, and also for Knicks fans, if you want Detroit, you're going to have to get there first, and probably in the East Finals. Because I don't think the Knicks make it past Boston this year. Because Boston's so far been better than the Knicks. And oh yeah, Boston doesn't even have Jason Tatum yet. And if they Celtics could get Tatum back in time for the playoffs. And of course, the Pistons wrap this week up with a game against the Bulls. The final matchup against the Bulls this year. And well, the Pistons, they do get Jalen Duren back because Duren now has served 2 games left, his 2-game suspension, but they still don't got Isaiah Stewart for about 3-4 more games after this. And well, with Isaiah Stewart, with the Jalen Duren, that was all the Pistons needed to keep the belt to ass on the Bulls, as they completely hammered the Bulls. Even though the Bulls tried a late comeback, they just could not catch up to the Pistons at the end. Just Pistons once again dominating the Bulls like nothing else to see here. Just Detroit dominating the Bulls. As once again, Detroit showed the Bulls that a lot of fans they'd rather be a Detroit Bad Bull than a Chatoilet crybaby like Judah Tribe. But yeah, Pistons dominate them. They dominate. They win the season series over the Bulls to get a 3 out of 4. And also with those 2 wins, the Pistons are now guaranteed a winning record this year, as that was their 42nd win this year with the win against the Bulls. So yeah, Pistons are guaranteed a winning record, but of course we all know that's not good enough yet, and there's bigger goals on the fray. Because even though the Pistons got 42 wins this year and guaranteed a winning record, job's not done yet. We're far from done. Like, it ain't over yet. The job has only just begun. But yeah, anyway, Pistons continue to roll on. In case of playoffs, well, Pistons are like 13 games ahead of Orlando for a top 6 spot. Like the rate the Pistons are going, they're probably not going to lock up a playoff spot until probably mid-March at the earliest. At this rate, I mean, there's a possibility they could wrap up a play-in spot by the end of the month, maybe, if they play their cards right, or start of March, but I already know the Pistons, we don't want that stupid play-in tournament. The playoffs is where it's really at, and the Pistons have a chance to do better than a play-in, with them having the 1 seed so far. But anyway, and of course, by not having Isaiah Stewart next week's going to be tough, because next week's going to be starting that big, brutal stretch. Because the next 4 games it's going to be against Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Cleveland. And Oklahoma City and San Antonio, those games could potentially be NBA Finals previews, since if the Pistons make the finals this year, they're most likely playing either San Antonio or Oklahoma City in the finals. Most likely Oklahoma City. Although San Antonio could possibly upset them and pull it off in the playoffs if they face Oklahoma City in the East Finals, if they play their cards right. But time will tell there for sure. The playoffs are a whole different animal come April and May. But anyway, that wraps it up here. That's all I gotta say. Now it's time for me to go to see the gold medal game and see if Canada can go bring another gold home against the Americans, and show everybody why hockey always has and always will be Canada's game. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I forgot. I did tell everybody at the beginning of the video. I was going to tell everybody why there's so much heat between Canada and USA. Because I know Marco Averis and a few others have always asked that question to me. And they're going to ask me that question after this video about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it now. So why is there so much heat between Canada and USA? Well, it's mainly just a USA ego thing, and USA always jealous of Canada, considering that Canada's always dominated the Olympics, and Canada always beats the US in best-on-best medal games when it matters. But the main reason why is because USA has this weird fucking obsession where they always have to be the best at everything, and Canada is the only thing standing in America's way at being the best at hockey. So yeah, that's really thing. It's more of an ego thing in the USA, just jealous of Canada's success. That's mainly most of Canada's success on the international stage and best on best. Majority of it has come at USA's expense. I think that really pisses them off even more. So yeah, now the more you know. And listen, you can all mention the whole Stanley Cup thing all you want. Here's the thing. For that there's one thing for that Stanley Cup thing with the U.S. teams winning the Cup the last 30 years. All those teams, those 30 years for Canada, for the U.S. have been won with Canadian players on American teams. So yeah, even though American teams have won the Cup the last 30 years, they've had Canadian players on their roster. I mean, just look at the Wayne's Dynasty. They had some Canadians play big factors in it. You know, Osgood, Yzerman, Brendan Shanahan, Darren McCarty, even Chris Draper, to name a few. But yeah, honestly, all I say in America is, to all the U.S. hockey fans, is good luck tonight. Good luck this morning. May the best country reign supreme on the international stage. Anyway, I'm out. See you all later.